So in the middle of COVID, obviously everybody's freaking out. You're broadcasting, calling it out. We're broadcasting, calling it out. And then all of a sudden, Black Lives Matter happens. And then there's protests out there. And all of that's going on. And that was a whole nother issue where it got everybody asking them questions about race. What was that like for you? And what did you say? And you must have had controversy around that and blowback.
Yeah. Of all of I've said a lot of things over the last 20 years publicly. I've put out a lot of social media posts. I've said a lot of things on podcasts, on TV, on stages. My early pushback against Black Lives Matter was actually the most controversial, more than anything I said about anything to do with COVID, more than anything I said to do with other weird race narratives or critical race theory, more than anything I said about the excesses of the LGBTQ movement or transgenderism or anything like that. My pushback against BLM was the one where, some people, people I truly love and respect thought I'd gone off the deep end. And what's remarkable about it, perhaps even more, is that BLM is not a new organization. It wasn't started in 2020. BLM has been going on since the mid-2010s. If I remember correctly, I think it was after the Michael Brown shooting. I might be wrong here. Someone can fact check me, but I think it was after the Michael Brown shooting in the USA, which I think was, I want to say that was 2014 or 2015, I think. That's when the whole BLM thing started. And I'd looked into the movement early on, like in the mid-2010s, before anyone knew me for any social commentary or anything. I'd just done some basic research on it, and I knew that it was an organization quite literally run by Marxists, and that it wasn't really about looking out for black people. They had weird LGBTQ stuff in there. They had lots of anti-capitalistic stuff in there, talking about wanting to dismantle capitalism. They had something on their own website in their charter talking about wanting to disrupt or dismantle the nuclear family, talking about abolishing the police. All of these ideas, like actual radical left-wing ideas. So I sussed early on that, this organization it's not what it says on the tin. It's like a radical movement run by actual Marxists. Just saying that sounds like some conspiracy theory, but it's not. You can find videos of the people at the top of the Black Lives Matter organization describing themselves as trained Marxists on video. And
they're trying to weaponize an issue or hijack an idea and then pull their whole organization along with it.
Yeah, and the reason I thought it was so insidious was for multiple reasons. Number one, because people are sending money to them, but also because you are using tragedy to line your own pockets, right? So you're waiting for one of these high-profile killings to happen in the USA, essentially. White cop, black person. You're waiting for those incidents to happen so you can capitalize on it and then start pushing and campaigning, and then you're funneling that money to wherever it's going. It now turns out that they were buying houses and buying stocks and paying off their family members and so on. But again, if you go back to 2020, none of this was known. 2020 is when a lot of people think BLM started. It's not. It had happened before, but I think maybe due to the situation we were in with the lockdowns and the sort of heightened tension and fear anyway, after George Floyd's death, it was international. It went outside the borders of the USA. I think social media obviously plays a huge role in this. And you had protests from Berlin to Japan to the UK, like countries where cops don't even carry guns and people are marching around, Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot, so on, how much of that is astroturfed, how much is organic, I don't know. But I saw this all springing up again. Like, I've seen this happen a lot of times, and I just put up a couple of posts specifically criticizing the organization. And I actually explicitly said in my post that I'm talking about the organization. But that wasn't enough. A lot of people got very, very upset with me and mad about it. I had to do some cleaning up around that one. I won't go into too many details. But
cleaning up as in getting rid of people in your life?
No, not getting rid of people in my life, but explaining and not really being heard.
Okay.
But defending myself from accusations that I've, switched sides and I've become
personally with people.
Yes.
Just personally behind the scenes.
Yeah. Because people are looking at it like, how can, sometimes I have to kind of try to put myself in other people's brains and shoes with the knowledge that they have. And they're like, how can a black man, after this thing happens with George Floyd, people are upset, understandably, people are angry, people want justice, and they're like, how is a black man criticizing something that's called a movement that's called Black Lives Matter in the aftermath of this? From my perspective, what I'm seeing is a whole bunch of people getting duped. I'm seeing a whole bunch of people, again, having their compassion and their empathy hijacked by bad actors who are then lining their pockets with quite literally millions and millions of dollars in donation money, which is now flooding into the BLM organization. And it's not going towards improving black communities in the USA and investing in their neighborhoods. At the same time, I'm also seeing one black man dies or is killed, depending on someone's narrative, in Minneapolis. And in the riots that followed, another 20 people died. So 20 more people get killed as a result of the anger and the backlash. I don't know how many hundreds of millions or billions of dollars of property damage is done, including damage to stores owned by lots of black and brown people in predominantly ethnic minority communities. You're just, people start, then you've got people ripping down statues and just doing all sorts of crazy stuff. You've got white people bowing down to black people in their street and doing these weird, there's just all this, It was so weird. When you think back to it, it was just bizarre. You're like, what's going on here? Remember even the corporations, remember they started all sending out newsletters talking about how much they like black people and how they stand against racism. You're gonna play a video game, there's a notification comes up supporting BLM. In the sports field, basketball, they paint BLM on the court and on the fields, and the players are taking the knee. And it was hysterical. And I'm just looking at this all I know that most people's intentions here are good. But your emotions are being hijacked here. You're not thinking clearly. You're not looking into what is this narrative? The money that you are sending, where is it going? There was that whole, I have to put up a black square on Instagram thing. I had people unfollow me on Instagram for not putting up the black square. It's like, you people have lost your minds.
I remember the black square.
You've lost your minds. If you think it took what happened in 2020 for me to realize that Black Lives Matter, right? Me, coming from the family I'm from, the friendship groups I'm from, being who I am, really, I've been walking around my whole life assuming my life doesn't matter, my parents' lives don't matter, my siblings, it's just so, it was very frustrating. It's kind of weird reflecting back on it now because the narrative has changed so much.